Yeah, hi. My name is Naimon, and I am the product manager here at Arctype. I'm 26 years old. I'm from Washington, D.C. originally. I spent some of my high school career in Beijing, and then I guess more recently I lived for 2 years in Kyrgyzstan in a small village while I did Peace Corps service. I guess that brings us up basically until I started working for Arctype. Yeah, as our app became more and more complicated with more and more potential user flows, it became impossible for us to test it all internally and also to conduct adequate automated testing for each build. There are just so many different features and so many different UI elements, so many different moving parts that all need to be tested to make sure that there's no regressions and there's no bugs being introduced with new features. And so I think that's why we turned to QAwerk in the first place. Our primary milestones were trying to achieve a weekly deploy cadence with as few errors making their way into production as possible. Yeah, so with the help of QAwerk, we have really managed to reduce the number of bugs in production builds to almost zero. Every single build gets tested rigorously a couple of times, and any bugs are identified and then triaged along the way. And as a result, we've been able to achieve a 1 week, like a weekly deploy cadence with minimal churn due to stability and performance issues as well as bugs. Shock and horror. I can't imagine how tough it must be for the Ukrainian people, and I can't understand why one country would choose to attack its neighbor and its cousins even more so. It, to me, is an absolutely tragic situation and should be stopped immediately. Absolutely not. The war has not at all affected QAwerk's ability to deliver, which to me is actually very surprising. When the war first broke out in February, we were very concerned for all the members of the QAwerk team, and we figured that they would probably prefer to take a break from doing our kind of like weekly QA runs until the conflict was resolved. That being said, we were very shocked when the following Monday, all of the QAwerk team members showed up, ready to work, and in fact, enthusiastic to work. And as a result, we've continued our relationship with QAwerk, and we've been very, very satisfied with all the work that they've done, despite the horrendous circumstances in Ukraine at the moment. I would say that they should disregard any of the war-associated risks. I've found that Ukrainian people are, in general, incredibly hardworking and strong-willed, and also very passionate about supporting their country during these difficult times. So if anything, I think businesses should hire more Ukrainian QA engineers. Yeah, so at the outset of the war, we shifted all of our QA testing business over exclusively to QAwerk. We stopped contracting with other vendors entirely so that we could support QAwerk up to the maximum capacity. In addition to that, I think we have sent over 1 or 2 cash bonuses to help the QAwerk team cope with the ongoing situation in Ukraine. I think one favorite part is hard to say because there are so many. I've got a few. So first and foremost, I really like working with every member of the QAwerk team. Everybody's super friendly and responsive. They're very flexible, and they work with us even when a lot of moving pieces are up in the air. When we need last-minute test runs, they're always happy to accommodate us. In addition to that, we really like the attention to detail that the QAwerk team applies when they're conducting these test runs. Our test suite contains almost 300 test cases at this point, and it takes about 8 hours to run through a single QA test run. So that being said, obviously, it's very important that there's like a concerted effort to make sure that even the smallest bugs are identified, and the QAwerk team does a fantastic job. I'd recommend QAwerk to any startup working on a software project that has a user interface. Anything that requires more than just a set of automated tests, integrated into the CI. For any software project like that, I'd recommend QAwerk.